Good evening, good morrow, and good day, and welcome to another edition of Slice and Dice here with the Manylands campaign. For those of you who are watching live on the stream, no, you're not getting a sense of deja vu. I am starting the stream again because we had some technical difficulties which have now been fixed. Because, another week, another technical difficulty, of course. Anyway, here with me tonight is, of course, our lovely team. Hello, everyone. Our players for this evening. As you can see, we have a Mala and a Seth pictures, but we do not have video for them. But they are, I'm assured, here tonight. Hello, guys. So as for tonight's stream, before we get going, got a couple of masters of the audio. We've got a couple of evening to three kobolds in a coat. Before we get going tonight, a couple of shameless plugs for you. First of all,
shameless plug.
So we've been on our regular schedule for 2 weeks, which is quite impressive. 2 sessions, which is quite impressive for us. However, that schedule is getting disrupted because in 2 weeks' time, at this time, I will in fact be on stage for. I know you guys; it's like the first time you're hearing this. Because I am going to be on stage for the production of Our House, the Madness musical, down in sleepy Somerset. That's probably not a very nice way to call it, but I grew up there, so it's fine. In Wellington in Somerset, I am playing Joe Casey, who is the lead of the show, and it's a kind of a coming-of-age story about Joe. He makes a pivotal decision on his 16th birthday, which results in the entire show being split between one reality and the other, dependent upon which way he goes with the decision, in a kind of sliding doors-esque style moment, I would say. So we end up following a good Joe and a bad Joe throughout and seeing how their stories intertwine, all accompanied to the soundtrack of Madness with there's a lot of new renditions of old favourites. And also, if you're a fan of Madness, or you at least heard some of their songs, you'll be surprised how large the repertoire they have is, because I ended up discovering a lot more Madness songs than I had known through the process. So I'm sure you guys will too if you come and see it. The show is on the 27th to the 30th of this month. That's April. Those of you paying attention, you can get tickets on the door, I believe, for most nights if you come down to, as I said, to the Wellesley Theatre in Wellington to watch the show. Doors, I think, are at 7 to 7:30 p.m. On those nights, 27th, 28th, 29th, and the 30th. And there's a matinee on the 30th as well. So if you can make it all the way down there, I mean, wow, fantastic. I would really appreciate it. Thank you in advance for coming to support. But if not, that's why we haven't got a stream, and you can blame me and that show entirely for us missing out on our next game. That means that our next episode, our next session, will be on the 11th of May. So we've got about a month off after today's one. So let's make it a good one. So with that out of the way, more shameless plugs for you.
Shameless plug!
So, some of the team here have been suffering with allergy recently, but have still, for the most part, managed to make it onto the stream tonight. Thank you for coming. It's a little shameless plug for you guys, just to show appreciation. Thank you for being here, and hope you at home as well are staying safe and well, and looking after yourselves, and also looking after your memory, making sure that you don't forget things like whether, or maybe just making sure your perception isn't blurred to the point that you're wondering if what's the thing that you're at that has loads of people in the past is or is not a party, because apparently some people suffer with not knowing if that is or isn't a thing. But anyway, speaking of getting political, moving on. No, not talking about being political at all.
Party must include a cleric, a fighter, a rogue, and a wizard.
Indeed,
So
if you're
these are
assembling
all
a
not
balanced
parties.
party, you do need to cover the 4 cornerstones, right? So you need a spellcaster, you need a beefy fightery type, you need a stealthy type, and you need a healy type to go with those old school D&D sort of tropes. Anyway, moving swiftly on to something a lot cheerier about good deeds being done by good people. Over to Bart. Give us a nice little another little plug. I know you did it once already tonight, but
No
as if
worries.
it's the first time. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to. I'm reeling at that segue. Yes, so I am, for my sins, going to be walking the best part of 40 miles, and by the best part, I mean 1 mile less than 40 miles, in the space of under 2 weeks in June of this year. First one on the 18th of June, and then the other one, I can't remember exactly how long after that, but less than 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure. But I'm doing this apart from just being a crazy person. I'm doing this in order to raise money for Macmillan Cancer Support and their fine work. Providing assistance to people both suffering or people close to other people who are suffering from the Big C, which affects an enormous number of people still. I am doing a hike in the Lake District, 26 miles, and another one in Yorkshire shortly thereafter of 13 miles. I am at 2/3 of my fundraising target. Though obviously, the sky is the limit with these things because it's raising money for a good cause. Anyone who has some cash that they can spare and is willing and able to send it my way, you are wonderful people. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Jack has put a link to my Just Giving page that I have set up for it on the Slice and Dice Twitch page. So yeah, come on down and within reason and as without causing your personal finances any serious damage. Give early, give often. Thank you very much.
No problem, but thank you.
Shameless plug.
Just playing the noise. So for those of you who are watching us on catch up on YouTube or listening to us via podcast, if you're listening and you go, you know what, I do have 2 pennies to spare and I would love to give to this cause, come to the Twitch page and then you'll find the link to Bart's Just Giving page. That's probably the simplest way of doing things without anyone getting confused. Go for it. So, opening up to the rest of the team now. Does anyone else have any shameless plugs or anything they'd like to talk about before we jump in with tonight's stream? I see a hand up. Marshall, go ahead.
I'll do a little thing. It's not a
do a little
not a
thing,
plug,
yeah.
But as everyone is slightly aware, I may have too many fancy handmade dice from fancy handmade people.
Handmade tale.
Don't think about that too carefully. I use Etsy a lot. There's a lot of sellers on there. Etsy have had a wonderful, wonderful year of massive, massive profits thanks to all the people on Etsy and all the people staying at home and making things and buying things. Their response was to give their CEO a bonus and then up everyone's fees. They've added new fees. They've increased the fees on existing things and are basically squeezing the sellers for all they've got, despite the sellers being their only source of income. So looking it up, apparently 14,000 Etsy sellers are on strike this week. They're either closing their shops down or for at least some of the days of that week, with some very reasonable demands. So yeah, if you are an Etsy buyer, hold off this week, and hopefully we can get people back to, at least the previous rates. Don't know if they were fair or not, but at least they were not as unfair as they are trying to put them.
Yeah, I mean, there's something that sounds very eerily similar to our with our sort of fuel companies really at the moment. Be like, record profits, but everything's got to go up at the same time. Although perhaps slightly different reasons, but still, either way, not good.
At least the fuel companies are technically supplying that fuel.
Yes, indeed.
Etsy is supplying a website. Don't know if the value of the website has gone up. Anyway,
yay, dice and rolling of the dice, which some of you may remember at the end of the last session, our characters leveled up, and as is tradition, so Bart's very excited. That was an amazing expression. I need to screenshot that. Everyone remembers Marshall rolling his hit dice for Leobrin, which, true to form, still a 2, so he's level 8 and on 13 HP. Just defy the odds again, and I'm here for it. Anyway, without any further ado, unless anyone has anything else to add, New. Cool. Then let's jump in with tonight's session here in the Manylands campaign on Slice and Dice. And we are back. So, last time in the Manylands campaign, you lovely people, we're kind of dealing with the aftermath of the attack on the Salicen Inn by, it appeared to be, sorcerers and spellcasters from the Kobold Kingdom, along with thieves from the Crafty Crew, who are also a collection of kobolds with different affiliation, but they seem to be working together. And the two Dragonborn representatives of the Moonrunners, who you were talking to, Pentel and Telereka Renshaw, brother and sister, suggest that this, in fact, could be the case, that the two of them are sort of working together, and suggest that perhaps the Kobold Kingdom would have hired the Crafty Crew rather than the other way around, as they're the sort of the bigger organisation below ground. Though it's unclear if these two entities are just after the PCs. Breena does know that they were after the PCs, but it's not known what their affiliation is with the Moonrunners, whether they're looking to move in on the Moonrunner patch or not. Either way, it puts both teams on the same side, as in the Moonrunners and yourselves, the PCs, appear to be sort of the enemy of my enemy kind of feel to it. You know, if they're after you guys, they might be after them. You guys should probably work together, and so they have offered some more information for you, as well as to investigate further into the suspects on your list behind the assassination attempt against the king. And as part of this aid to you guys, they suggest the lizardfolk companion, or at least the shape-changing lizardfolk companion, who's actually a dragonborn by the name of Dox, played by our lovely guest Jess, goes along with you on your investigation, as she has lived in the Dragonborn Kingdom for a long, long time, so you're going to know her way around, and you're going to know, sort of, have her own contacts. What is unbeknownst, I think, to the Moonrunners and yourselves at this point, but us as the audience know, is that Dox also has an affiliation with the Enforcers as well. So she's got her fingers in a few pies, or her claws in a few pies, should we say. And they also gave you a couple more sort of hints of directions to go forward with in your investigation, including a line of inquiry to Dudra Denish, the leader of the Silver Sector, because they apparently are in a lot of debt to Caladan Lambold. That may be an angle that you can lean on, possibly, to get information from them. Or, in fact, Nither Xerox, which particularly took Brucon's interest, because he is the Lord General of the militia in Herthir. He's the militia head on the Dragon Council, and, you know, if any sort of coup were to take place, you're probably going to want the military on side. So he would be a person of import. And, to sweeten the pot even further, has been the sole sort of driving force behind attacking the Kobold Kingdom below ground. And so, you know, given your recent encounter that no one died from, although it came very close at one point, You probably have a good in with Nither Xerox at this point, given the amount of kobold scalps, not actual scalps, not literal scalps, but the amount of kobolds that you have brought to justice so far in your dealings. So, after ascertaining this, and Brucon inquired sort of about the relation between the Royal Guard and the militia, if they get on. You learned a bit about the history between the Black Dragonborn and the Gold Dragonborn, and their sort of fights for control over Hearthir before the formation of Dragon Kingdom, the Dragonborn Kingdom. There's basically a little bit of a lore dump. You get the information that you need, that the Royal Guard aren't infallible, but probably the closest thing to that would be Captain Auburn, who's been noted as the most sort of reliable, sort of righteous individual, and also happens to be, if memory would stir within you, that was the same captain of the Royal Guard that took all your weapons when you first arrived there, including the bone dagger, which was then given to the king. So anyway, with all this information, you decide that, you know what, we're going to sleep on it because it's getting late, and we kind of need to level up. No, we didn't. I mean, we weren't mettering this, but it was getting late, and you guys probably needed to go to bed. So Dox agrees to meet you guys in the morning at Bronzalurgy. However, unbeknownst to the rest of you, she decides to stealthily follow you because clearly she still doesn't trust you. And, she's just that kind of suspicious type, I guess. The rest of you go back to Bronzalurgy and go to have your night's rest. Breena has a secret meeting with Malar to discuss Seth's scimitar, which she has been quite suspicious of for some time. That there's something weird going on with it, especially because during the fights she overheard the slurping noise coming from the blade as it was sucking up blood, and Seth discovered that this was indeed the case when he experimented with the sword on himself in the room that evening. And no, that's not a euphemism, he genuinely cut himself with that sword to see what would happen, and it did indeed suck up the blood. So yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, you all go to bed. Some of you have some interesting dreams. Brucon has a vision of the seesaw, the party on one end, some sort of malevolent force enshrouded in red on the right, with him, Brucon, in the middle on the fulcrum. Like, maybe he tips the balance. Who knows? It's impressionist. You did a number of things you could draw from this, but it's all quite vague. Then Malar has a dream, memories of his childhood. And in that dream of his childhood, he then overhears some voices, which he ascertains are that of the eight gods who seem to be watching over this particular scene. He recognizes the voice of Festir, the god of plenty, and his sort of patron deity, if you like, who warns the god of truth, Omenak, otherwise known as Steve. As Keith. Festir is known as Steve. It gets confusing. But anyway, he warns Omenak not to meddle in what's going on with the party, because that will alter the course of the future, as the god of truth well knows. But there will be the materials that the party will need for what is to come will be provided to them, of course, because he is the god of plenty and this is what he does. So hopefully everything will be fine. So that was kind of a nice dream, which is, then the dream started to get a bit weirder as we went on to Leobrin, and he visited the third of the sisters that he was meant to locate, this one revealing her name to be Etherel, who seemed to be a very glamorous elven maid living in a cave underneath the palace, which is all very strange. And apparently this wasn't just a dream, it was a dream of a physical location that does actually exist, and she implored Leo to meet her there, offering, as a little parting gift before he left the dream, a kiss upon his cheek, which was in direct opposition to the kiss already on his other cheek from his patron, Lady Aranth. What could be the significance there? The symbolism? Let's find out. And then finally, the dreams got even weirder, because Seth, who usually has quite weird dreams anyway when he's underwater and speaking to his patron, who goes by many names, including Chetrabagala, but also known as the Voice, starts speaking to him and then suddenly disappears, and instead is replaced by an elegant, pale, sort of alabaster white elf on a very dark, eight-pronged throne, with a very long black gown and piercing red eyes, who seems particularly interested in Seth because of the scimitar that he carries, the one that has been drinking the blood. That apparently was a weapon of her disciples, who are all drow like herself. And she has basically offered for Seth to become a disciple of hers on the condition that he feeds her by killing people with the scimitar, because then it drinks the blood and that feeds her, and there's nothing weird or suspicious about that at all. And in exchange, she will make him stronger. And in order to prove this point, and this is where we pick things up, Seth, you awaken inside your room in the tavern, where you are not alone. There is a small, kind of devilish-looking creature with sort of little leathery wings. In some ways, sort of, as you're from the Pirate Isles, I would say this is somewhat reminiscent of like a monkey, like a small sort of, that sort of type creature. But instead of the normal sort of furry tail, this has a scorpion's tail, and has a little goatee and little horns, and looks up at you in awe and admiration. Yes, master.
What are you? Hello.
I've been sent to assist you.
Yes. Sorry, who sent? Now the stupid questions, isn't it? How
The
are
lady.
you going to assist me?
However you wish, master. I'm yours to command.
What can you do?
I can do many things. I can turn into animals. I could turn invisible. I could sting things with my tail. I could pick things up. I could fold your clothes. I could prepare meals for you. I could, if you had a pet, I could walk it. I can fly. I could fill in your tax returns if you had such forms to fill in.
This is going to be useful.
Yes, useful is my middle name. Probably.
You look quite. Name? Do you have a name?
Do I have a name? I'll have whatever name you give me, sir.
That's I'll call you Rallum.
Rallum. Yes.
For now, can you be less conspicuous for now?
Yes. As I said, I could turn invisible. I could turn into an animal, if that is helpful for you, sir.
What can you turn into?
Well, I don't actually. Well, what would you like me to turn into? I could turn into a bird, or maybe a spider, or something else that's in the stat block that Jack hasn't looked at yet.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only two I remember actually. But that is perfect. Can you turn into a bird for me?
Yes, master. What kind of bird would you like me to turn into?
Raven.
Oh, yes, I could. One moment. Poof! He turns into a raven, as you describe. Greyish beak.
Now, I'm going to be meeting up with my party. Don't speak in front of them or transform into your previous shape in front of them. You know what? For now, it's better if you don't appear in front of them until I find a better time to introduce you. Perfect. Rather than just being invisible, like near me for it, can you go away for a little bit until can I call you back? Can I summon you? When it's just us two, you can speak.
What?
When it's just us in the room, you can speak.
Oh, yes, master. Yes. Yes. You can. Yes, you can dismiss me at will and summon me again. That is not a problem. Whatever you want.
Cool. I'll give it a try now. So I'm going to use a bonus action to dismiss him.
And
And I'm going to
puff
gonna
of
call
feathers,
it
he
back.
disappears. Oh, I'm back. Yes, you called, Master.
And just testing, and then disappear again. And
Oh,
going to leave him gone and be like, cool, this is a good morning. Bad night, but good morning. And I think the morning can only go up from here. And I'm
Yes.
going to go downstairs to join the others.
so
Don't shake your
you,
head, DK. The string can't see you, but I can.
so you,
That's who it is. That is exactly whose benefit I'm doing it for.
an audience of one. So you guys head on down. Sorry, James. Seth heads on downstairs. The rest of the party has already gathered at this point, just having their breakfast. I'm going to assume that Docs is also was probably actually first there. Let's be real. She's already there waiting.
She was absolutely the first person there.
Yeah. So the rest of the sort of party have coalesced around her, around a specific table, which Seth, very easy to pick out your group because, well, you know, they're not all Dragonborn, and well, there's a very tall Loxodon and there's a very small gnome. So you know, they stick out. Your eclectic group. And it's actually Neris is the first to sort of notice you, and she just does a double take, just looks completely confused. What? And that kind of prompts everyone else to look in your direction. And everyone else now sees that Seth has red eyes, which he did not have before.
When you say red eye, do you mean just like the color, instead of like
the
blue
iris.
is red, or the whole?
Yeah,
the iris. Okay.
Much like Neris's eyes, the iris is red.
Okay, cool. That's
so-
less
Yeah,
incredibly
that's less freaky than a fully red sclera, which is the point at which people start going as they look at you.
I'd have less sense for why is every part of your eye red.
Yeah,
To be
like,
fair, I
alright,
don't think
seriously,
it would matter
Buckshot.
to the party. I think we still freak out.
What colour was Seth's eyes beforehand? Hold on.
Yes, what colour were Seth's eyes beforehand?
Yeah, that's a good
They
question.
were eye coloured.
Like,
Is it not on your
I'm gonna
character
go with-
sheet?
I
They
don't
look-
think I went into as much detail as
They
colour,
look like
eye colour.
grey
I
in this
apologise.
picture.
So
They look.
it's a light blue grey.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so noticeable difference. Good. Just what we want.
This is what we all want.
Oh,
By the way,
Mr.
Jack-
Seth, are you feeling all right?
Yeah, fine, thanks. Bad sleep, but good morning so far. How are you? This is nice. Oh, people aren't usually
And
so.
I'll shoot to look at Breena.
Mello, we should have done it yesterday. We shouldn't have waited.
Oh, Mr. Seth, the wandering deacon of my parish, it is one of my responsibilities to dispense some medical fortitude to yourself. You are indeed overdue a medical exam by me, Mr. Seth. This won't take a minute. Malak gets up and grabs Seth's head, grabs his head between his two hands, and just opens up his eyes so he can really get a good look in there.
What are you doing? I am
Oh,
resisting.
Mr. Seth, you are not well. Have you had any consultations with spirits from another plane?
No, just an elephant grabbing my face in the morning.
I
Mr.
think
Seth, have
you're
you
lying.
seen yourself this morning?
What is happening?
Casting Zone of Truth right now.
Why is
Okay.
everyone drunk? What the hell is happening?
Okay, so you're
Mr.
casting
Seth,
Zone of
your
Truth.
eyes are red.
I'm assuming, guys.
I don't know. I didn't think very well. Yours
lost
was a little bloodshot.
Are you casting this, Breena, with the wand? With Irrefutable? Okay, right. So this is the extra potent version of Zone of Truth. So everyone within the zone either willingly fails or will have to make the save. Please remind me, Angelique, what that is.
That is a charisma save with a DC 18.
Brucon's going to attempt it. Just Brucon's not the kind of person who wants to be super tied down about whether or not he's going to choose to lie in any given moment. So he would ideally like to keep his. I think it's like an instinctive thing of trying to keep his options open, but this is unlikely to be a successful save. Oh my god! What was the DC again?
18.
18.
Oh, cleared it by 1, baby.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
You have to try
19.
again in 6 seconds, though.
I know.
Oh, cold. That's cold.
How about I don't attempt it unless I actually am trying to say something. First of all, it seems this is
Yeah.
the where Zone of Truth breaks down a little bit.
Yeah.
Was everyone here?
Yeah, we met
Oh,
downstairs.
I'll roll.
Yes, but
Oh,
I think
sorry.
no one else but Seth is actively trying to. Well, I don't know about Docs actually, but
I just like the.
Well,
option of
Neris
trying to make a
failed.
save. Oh no!
How did everyone
Uh,
else do?
Jess,
Docs.
how did Docs do on the?
What's the save again? Charisma.
Charisma, yeah.
Which you should be
Okay,
theoretically
dirty
quite good at. Dirty 20.
Nice.
Docs is fine so far. And I believe that you, as the caster, will know who's succeeded and who's failed, correct?
Yes.
Cool. So you can note that. Time to delete the party. I've only just seen that Pavel has now subscribed. Is on an 18-month streak. Woo!
Mad.
Pavel, you absolute madman. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Hashtag fate dies. All right. So, Seth failed as well. The save. Probably the most critical person here. Yeah, sorry, bud. Okay.
I got a natural 1.
With the natural one. Oh,
Oh,
somebody
God.
did not want you to succeed. All right.
I was going to save my inspiration for the second dice, thinking, yeah, I could pass 1 check. Fucking natural 1.
All right. It's the way the dice go sometimes. So, Breena, over to you.
Okay, Seth, I don't know what's happening, but we want to help you, okay? We want to help. So now you tell us again. What's been happening?
Well, I woke up, I came downstairs, and a giant man has grabbed my face, and
Before that.
that's my day so far. I've had my face grabbed. He said I've got red eyes. Here's a pretty bloodshot. He's got crazy look in his eyes.
Yeah, she just bulldozes right through that. Before that.
I mean, I woke up. I've been talking to myself in my room.
To Rallum.
To yourself?
Everyone talks to themselves. I wake up, look in the mirror, go, "You can do this." I didn't do that today. Obviously, I'd seen red eyes. So when you say red, do you mean like bloodshot?
It's worth noting Malar hasn't let go yet. Like, he's still clamped onto Seth's head.
I will also add that this version of Zone of Truth, you cannot avoid the truth. Either.
So when you said about talking to yourself, you would also have to admit about talking to your familiar.
But I do talk to myself.
Yes, but you can't
That was
avoid.
true.
I asked you what you were doing. You can't avoid telling me.
Meanwhile, those who,
I
those who
aspect of what I did.
Brucon and Docs need to roll their charisma saves again. Or you could just fail. It's either way.
Look at that, I failed. Although, astonishingly, I failed by 1, and Brucan has a +2 bonus to charisma save, so those are two
Nice.
staggeringly good.
18, yeah.
Oh no!
18. It's fine though. Breena's absolutely not focused on them. She's only focused on
Oh,
stuff.
I'm
Doc's just like, I'm staying quiet.
Quietly in the corner.
Yep.
I mean, given that this is apparently a supercharged version of Zone of Truth that not only makes it impossible to deceive, but compels you to disclose
Yes.
things, I think it's probably a bit more. I think it's potentially an issue for Docs.
Yep.
Yes.
Big questions are asked.
Yes. As long as they're not directed at you, you should be all right.
It's given to Breena by Almanac himself. So it will be overpowered, and the best way to avoid it is to not have Breena become suspicious enough to cast it.
Or you equally could walk outside of the zone if you were bothered about
Yes.
it, because nobody's actually physically holding you
Yeah,
down at
it's
the moment.
I
Seth,
think it was
however,
a 15 feet radius. I think that's what
It's
it was.
it's something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it is. So you
So
could
it's like,
move
I'm just going to go to the bar, and it just disappears outside of the zone.
Right.
So, yes,
Seth.
go ahead.
Yeah. I was saying to James, you can't avoid telling us what happened.
I thought it was so. I have to speak, so I can't. So if you ask me a question, I can't just remain silent. Like it
No,
forces me.
you're
to speak,
compelled
and it's
to say the
truthful.
truth. Yeah.
And I was talking to myself because I did say to myself, today's going to be a lovely morning. It's going to go up from here. So that is the truth.
Yes, but not the only truth. I asked what you were doing before.
You can't be evasive as part of
You
this.
can't be evasive, exactly.
You can be evasive with the normal one. You can't
Yes.
be evasive with this one.
Exactly.
I know it's no fun, buddy. I'm sorry. It's meant to be used on the NPCs, not the PCs.
And I was talking to my familiar.
You're what?
It's a genuine crime, can I just say? It's a genuine tragedy that we can't. That not everyone can see James
Yes.
right now. This is incredible.
Poor lamb.
Yeah.
Had him for 5 fucking minutes.
What's this familiar you're talking about?
My familiar that I have just
Since
acquired.
when?
I've just figured out how to summon it today.
It's true.
No.
How did you do that?
Magic.
Where
True.
did you get it from?
From where I get my magic from the same place as
Which
Bella,
is
from
where?
praying for it. I prayed
Oh.
and I was given magic. I don't know
Who gave? See, Mallard grabs Seth by the lapels on his jacket and lifts him up in the air. And
Oh.
like, who, Seth? Who gave you these ill-gotten gains?
I don't know who. Now put me down.
Oh, Malor, we're trying to help, remember?
I lower him back down.
Okay, and I'm gonna sit cross-legged in front of Seth, and even though he's way taller than me, just
So
look up.
we're standing. So are you
Yes.
at like knee height now?
Yes. And I'm going to be like, okay, we're not trying to corner you here, we're just concerned. So I'm gonna sit here and keep casting Zone of Truth on you until you tell me everything.
Neris kind of steps up with this. This doesn't seem very fair. He's everyone has secrets, and he's on our team. Like, this doesn't. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. This is worse. This is worse than the GIMP table. Okay, it's worse than the GIMP table. And she just goes to her room.
Pulls out a hip flask and offers it to Leo and says, "You want some? This is not about you, but this is pretty great."
This is yes, I think I need that. This seems yes.
Yeah, help yourself. Brucon passes Leo his hip flask filled with firewater.
Leo Bryn.
Ox kind of puts out.
Did I
say
on
Li-
the table, puts
did I
his
say Leo
hands
Bryn?
on the head. It's just like, yeah, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
You didn't know. I was going to say Leo Bryn, with his wonderful constitution, drinks Brucon's firewater.
Please make a constitution check, please. Check, please.
Please. Holy moly. 18 minus 1 is 17.
You're fine.
Nice.
You're fine. It is a strong brew, but it is an enjoyable one. Goes down smooth. Mm.
Hill Brucon gives him a hearty slap on the back. No, I don't.
Yeah, even though he's fine.
Oh, you did well. No.
Blueberry's a strong boy, though. He'd shake it off. He'd be fine. Breena, you also feel a stirring in your pocket, and out of it appears a familiar sight. It's the little rat.
No!
Nibbles.
I forgot I had him.
Familiar.
We're enjoying the truth. As he comes out, I just say, God, I want to kill that rat.
Well, so you said you had a familiar. Oh, I've been looking for a while to be a familiar. In fact, I thought that would be yours.
He kind of nuzzles into Breena's neck.
Yeah, you are
I hate
mine.
you so
But
much.
I need you to go away now, because we're trying to figure out what's going on with Seth, okay?
Okay.
Go away forever.
Brucon
Stuffs back into the pocket.
But you
Brucon
are, though.
turns.
Actually, like, look into her pocket. But you are, though. I like you very much. And
Thank you, I like you as well.
Okay, Brucon was in the midst of reacting to that, but then when Breena kind of did the after, the post-release spin on the ball to sort of modify things a bit, he kind of goes, oh, okay.
She dismissed her familiar in her own way.
Yep.
All right.
And just gonna glance around to the others. I know you don't like him. I'll keep him quiet.
I've got nothing against it. He's a fine rat. I'll be honest with Breena. I'm going to be honest with you, not least because I don't have any alternative. I think Neris does have a point. This is a little intrusive, and it seems to be a poor. Seth's he's an odd fish to be sure, but he's always been reliable by our side, on our side. He's put his body on the line multiple times for us. This seems to me like a slightly rough way to treat a fellow.
I agree. I don't like that Mallory picked him up at all. I'm concerned for him. That sword was slurping up blood. It's concerning.
It is concerning, but I agree that being picked up by the head by a large elephant fellow is probably not something I would
That was
particularly
too much, Mallow.
want to happen.
Tugs on his trunk again.
I think there's also maybe something about compelling a friend to tell you absolutely anything you want to know about them that's a little it's a bit of a sort of violation of their personal autonomy, if you get me.
Well, it's not like I'm asking him about his lovers, just about what's happening.
I mean, well, maybe he does. Maybe maybe what's happening is something he has reasons not to want to disclose fully to you. Seth, why are you comfortable with being asked these questions while being compelled to answer them fully?
No.
Okay. Why not? May I ask why not?
It's.
Oh no, that's worse.
I wasn't expecting a follow-up. I was so on Team Brucon. I was like, Brucon, you're so on my side. I was like, DM, give him some inspiration. He's my best friend right now.
I mean, I'm probably going to give him inspiration for that because that's genius. Why don't you want us to pry? Oh, because of this.
Does Brucon have inspiration?
Yeah, I'll give you inspiration, yeah.
Sick. Yeah.
That was very good.
I don't want to tell you because I don't know all the answers. Oh, I didn't know that was the answer.
Would we
Well,
not be able
aren't
to
you
help you with
concerned?
finding out?
Yeah, we would help.
So, I mean, if it's confusion that's the problem, then that's something we can definitely help with.
We're your friends. If you're worried, we're here for you.
I'm not used to trusting people, so I don't usually tell people stuff.
I just want to briefly. This is a lovely role-playing moment, and I'm sorry to pull us out of it again. But the tone of voice that you're using for this game is amazing. It's like it's such a massive disconnect between what you're saying and the delivery. I love it. Anyway, sorry. Back in the moment.
No, Steph doesn't know what he's answering. He's saying it. He's like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that."
It's great. I
It
love
works,
it. This
yeah.
is not in any way a criticism. I just think it's fantastic.
The
Breena's
dissonance
gonna
is
look-
fantastic.
Yeah. Brina's gonna look to Seth at that. And she looks a little sad. So, you're hiding because you're afraid that we wouldn't help you?
Think so?
Okay. She drops Zone of Truth.
Okay.
I'm
Breena,
not gonna
Breena, have
force
some
you.
inspiration.
Thank you. I'm not gonna force you if it's a matter of trust, I understand. We were just worried that something nefarious was going on, and we're worried for you. That's all.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
it's
I will
inside.
say, Seth, the eye thing is it's a little it's a little off-putting given some of the stuff that we've. I mean, look, I stabbed myself with a dagger in the chest as part of a dark magical ritual that brought someone back from the dead, and my eyes didn't go red, so it's a little concerning. Do you have any idea what might have caused that?
Here's the thing, I didn't know my eyes were red until someone grabbed my face, and I've been up about 10 minutes. So, no, I wasn't aware of what had made my eyes red.
I think...
And I wanted to incite Breena when she said that she wanted to help. I wanted when she said that last line, I said I wanted to do an insight check.
Oh, go for it.
So if you're doing an insight check, Breena, if you're being deceptive at
13.
all, then roll a deception check.
What did you get, James?
13.
Completely truthful.
I'm going to pass her my scimitar. You wanted to look at it.
You sure that you want me to?
It's fine.
Okay.
It's probably good. There's every chance you could have been being controlled by some sort of demonic force that was forcing you to do things.
Yeah. Breena will ritually cast Identify.
Okay, so over the next 10 minutes, you will cast that. Is anyone doing anything in those 10 minutes? Or are you all just waiting with bated breath?
Sort of just stand there and go, so, how did everyone sleep?
So, remember the weird ladies, the weird ladies thing got going on.
More specific, we've met a lot of weird people.
The me ones, the
Still more specific.
the
The werewolf,
hags,
the werewolf one, or a different one?
the fae, the hags, the orbs.
Oh, with the birds,
Yeah,
the carriage with the
carts.
birds.
Yes, that.
Yes.
So one of them dream visited me. I think.
Was it a sex dream?
No, I think.
Are you sure?
Anyway.
Are you sure someone visited you? I mean, it could have just.
Well, we could go find out. If my dream is correct, there's a cave on the beach below the castle.
Interesting.
It's a specific dream. Why did the hag ladies want to tell you about a cave here?
That's a good question that we'll probably find out if we go there. And I
Okay.
would rather go there with a bunch of support.
Well, I'm very happy to support you, but could we maybe try and find something out about the cave before we go into? I mean, I don't remember
yes.
those. I don't remember those ladies being, explicitly out for all our blood, but I also don't recall them being, overtly on our side. So it seems to me that we should maybe do a bit of research before we just head into a cave that appeared to you in a dream via a ambiguous messenger.
I suppose we could do some heroic research before we heroically quest into a cave.
With all due respect, what has this got to do with the assassination?
I mean, that's a good question, but we don't know. I think is the look. It's Docs, right? Is that Docs is your name? Does Brucon know that out of character?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As I couldn't remember, layers of subterfuge across multiple weeks.
No
So
problem.
Brunga, yeah, I mean, you raise a very fine point, Docs. But I'll be honest with you. When it look, I'm not a magical person, but based on our experiences so far, magical visions are worth paying a certain amount of attention to. They have a bit of a way of throwing you into a situation that you now I think about it, I was going to say that you benefit from, but I'm not entirely convinced that's true. Hold on. And Brucon starts kind of like rifling through his memory banks, going, well, there was the one about the Eyrie, which kind of worked in our favour, except it did land us here in Herthir.
Normally, if magic is behind something, they will kill people with magic. Everybody was not killed with magic, they were killed with poison, so why would the magic be involved?
It's a fair point.
I just always found it quite interesting to follow strange ladies into weird locations. But maybe I
What you
should
do in your
analyze that.
spare time with Gimp table and all that stuff is in your business.
Yes, I am realizing that now. That's a personal insight I just had at this point in time.
I'm checking again. You're sure this was a dream that someone else was in? Wasn't just
Yes.
some roleplay stuff in your mind?
No. Those, I mean, yes, I know the difference. Those are different. I would imagine. I don't know. Maybe.
The stream of consciousness is beautiful, you guys.
Trust the first thing I said. What I said was definitely different.
Has the identify finished on the sword yet?
Yes, we'll say that the 10 minutes is now elapsed. And Breena, yes. So with identify, you recognise this. So you would understand the properties of this sword. It is scimitar of speed.
Okay, but would I get anything that would explain the eyes or anything else like that? Or the slurping?
You do not from identify, no.
Okay. Seth?
Yeah.
Here's your weapon back. Whatever's going on with it is beyond my magic. It looks like a normal magical scimitar to me. But obviously what's happened, the blood slurping thing, it should not do that. It doesn't have those properties. So that's something else. That's concerning.
I don't know what that could be. I'm sorry.
You're not under Zone of Truth, so it's up to you how you respond. But could you tell us more about the familiar and whoever gave that to you? Because it might be related.
All I know is I wanted magic. I did what Mala told me about asking higher powers for magic. I don't know who they are. And
don't cry, Mala, stop.
Breathe, Mala, breathe.
He's gone in dog mode. I did what Mala suggested of talking to other powers and something answered back, and I was able to use magic. Yeah, I didn't want anything from me, just to do as I've been doing.
I can't blame you for that. That's pretty much me and Keith and my want, so I can't blame you for that.
cast Stone of Truth quickly.
Okay. I'll cast Stone of Truth again.
I'll willingly fail it.
Nibbles fails. Generally.
Brucon willingly fails, if only to save time.
And
For my own entertainment, I'm rolling it. Nice.
I'll say I've enjoyed traveling with everyone, and you're best people I could have traveled with, and I would never do anything to betray you. And if anyone messed with you, I would always be on your side. And cancel the stuff. Turn it off.
No, I'm not turning it off yet. Seth? Look at me.
Yeah.
We feel the same way about you, and we're going to help you with this thing.
Thank you. Turn it off.
No.
Turn it off.
Turning it off.
Seth, have some
Gonna give her a
inspiration.
pound.
That whole
Gonna give her-
exchange. Very generous with the inspiration tonight, aren't I? But it's been very good. It's been very enjoyable.
So Brucon turns to Dox and says, "You do make a good point. We do have. Actually, it occurs to me that we've got a few different sort of things that are potentially on our plate here. Just from, I can't speak about this whole scimitar thing. It seems to me that up until the moment that Seth tries to actually do anything to us, I'm going to go ahead and assume he's the same trustworthy chap that he has been up until now. But maybe we all agree to keep an eye on him, and if we see any further alarming or unexpected developments, then we respond as and when. But the chap's eyes have changed colour. It's odd, certainly, but it doesn't really put me in fear for my life. More of a challenge is where we go now, because we have actually quite a few different sort of paths we could go down. So we have two pretty solid potential leads about people on the council to look into, namely Dudradenish and Nither Xerox. Dudradenish to investigate, and Nither Xerox potentially to establish some kind of relationship with. But also there's this Goblin Shaman and Leobarin's dream. So we probably need to try and figure out a way to sort of prioritize them. It seems, and what I'll say is that our Goblin captive, we're coming under pretty sustained attack from. Sorry, I say Goblin. I meant Kobold. We've been coming under pretty sustained attack from kobolds, so it seems to me we ought to, one of us at least, ought to try and uncover a bit more about what's going on. And it seems to me that, Breena, you've demonstrated that you are the ideal interrogator, really. So my vote would be for Breena, with perhaps someone accompanying her, should she feel she needs it, to go and find out a bit more about what's going on with all these bloody kobolds appearing everywhere. But then potentially some of the rest of us could track down, could set off on one or more of the other leads.
You can do that.
Mr. Brucon,
The weapon of the
that
good
sounds
is
like
the
a
truth.
Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
Tom Breena. Oh, Mr. Brucon, that's a capital idea, and I would like to volunteer myself for assisting Ms. Breena if she would have me.
Always, Malar.
It's an interesting. The one thing I will say, Malar, is that you, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were also pretty good at extracting the truth from the unwilling via magical means. Yes.
Well, it's not so much me, Mr. Brucon. It's more the gods working through me, and Malar is Seth and I at that point.
Right, point taken. But nevertheless, you are the man on the spot when it comes to the god's will. So the only thing I wonder is whether it would be handy having you with someone else. Should we need to verify the accuracy of the information we're being given.
Oh, well, Mr. Brucon, I'm more than happy to dispatch myself somewhere else. Your tactical acumen is most assured here. I will follow whatever lead you
As Malar
deign
says
me
that,
to.
Brucon, as Malar says that last bit about the tactical acumen, Brucon kind of like has the like he suddenly like goes distracted and goes, "Wait, yes, I am being uncommonly practical and sensible here." And he pulls out his hip flask and looks at it, and then looks at Leo and goes, "This was alcohol, right? You drank this." And then
Yes, yes.
he takes a hefty slug just to be sure and goes, "No, that's still booze. I have no idea what's going on there." Sorry, Malar. Anyway, yes, carry on.
Oh, I'm just simply saying I will go wherever you see fit, Mr. Brucon, since you seem to have quite the head about yourself on such matters.
I think it's the sort of skullduggery element. Anyway, it sort of takes me back to my youth, with all of the japes we used to get up to with the with the law in Bureaucrat. All right. Well, my suggestion is that I accompany Breena, seeing as I'm the person, I have the comrock, and I've been in contact with the local sort of inspectorate. It seems, and also I'm the person who suggested we imprison this kobold shaman figure. It seems to me to make sense that for Breena and I to go and follow up on that lead, while some number of other people explore what's going on with Dudradenish and Caladan Lambold. But perhaps maybe they start by trying to make contact with sorry, I said Nither Xerox before, but I think I meant Ryan Imbixtel, the information head. Anyway, and then they might be able to shed some light on what's any dealings between Lambold and Denish, and possibly provide some guidance about how to uncover more what's going on with Leo's nighttime activities. If you'll excuse the slightly euphemistic way of saying that.
I have a quick question.
All right.
Yeah. When Breena cast Zone of Truth on us, did we know we were under the effect of the spell? Like, did we feel it, or did we just start speaking the truth?
You would feel it in the same way as you would with the regular casting of the spell.
So someone couldn't walk into it. So if someone walked into the zone, they'd know.
They'd know they
were
walked into
forced
the
to speak
zone.
the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they'd have to make the
Never mind,
charisma
never mind.
save. So yeah.
No, I was thinking that we bring the people we suspect into it, but it doesn't work if they know.
It seems like as soon as they're put in its area of effect, they become aware of the effect.
Yeah, scratch
And
that
as
plan.
given
Never mind.
that they get to make a save, that means they are aware if they can resist it.
Scratch my plan then.
Okay.
Yeah. Brucon, I
Yes.
would suggest that if Mala is going somewhere else, that Seth comes with us. Maybe we don't put them in the same group.
This is sort of like the old fable about the fox and the chicken and the grain and the
I'll
farmer
keep
with
an
the
eye on
goat.
him, Mala. Don't worry.
Yes, no, don't you worry, Malar. I can assure you that if there's any funny goings on, I'm on top of it. You can put your faith in me. Apart from the fact that your faith is already reserved, obviously. But don't worry about Seth. Breena and I between us. Should anything unfortunate happen to him, I'm sure we can deal with it.
I'm right here.
Remember,
Mala.
we care about you.
Mana frumps, and then sort of nods in acquiescence.
Don't worry, Keith is with us.
Keith.
Almanac, I say for his sake.
Yeah. Mala was very grumbly this morning, I think.
Are you feeling all right? No, I don't think Brucon's that.
What's our actual plan? We've got 5 people to find out. Is there a point where they're all together that we can question multiple people?
Well, we've it seems to me that we shouldn't try to. It doesn't make sense to try and confront them all at the same time, the guilty party would simply be given more opportunities to throw us off the scent and potentially implicate someone innocent. I would suggest that we, generally speaking, and Brucon's body language slightly shifts as he starts saying this in a kind of like, please don't ask me too much about where I'm, where this is all coming from. But he sort of says, my understanding is that standard operating procedure with these kinds of things is, divide and conquer. Identify people to speak to in turn and try and verify their accounts as best we can. And we have some leads. We have some information that Dudra Denish, the head of the Silver Sector, is in some way in the has some kind of liability to Kaladin Lambold, so we could try and explore that a little more. And we know that Ryan Imbixtel is a good person to speak to if you want to know what's going on in the capital. So my suggestion, and I'm very open to other ideas, but my suggestion is that we speak to Ryan Imbixtel and or Dudra Denish about the latter subtly to try and unpack a little what their motives are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was much more used to. I was much more used to a detective getting everyone in the same room together and slowly talking through the events until someone slipped up and.
Yes, but traditionally they do that at as part of revealing what they know when they have already identified the guilty party or are very close to it. I think we're.
Oh, yes, we have a terrible conviction rate in Manylands, so this is probably better.
I have like 2 possible suggestions that if we start struggling, just slightly more extreme ends of stuff. Okay. Suggestion 1. Just kidnap them. Ask them questions, let them go.
And that was the top of your list. Okay.
Yeah, option 1.
I started in the ones that I'm more used to. So option 2. We tell the king that Breena has super magic truth powers. Tell the king, gather everyone together outside the castle, and one by one, zone of truth them in front of the king.
That's.
We could get them to agree to it, then that would be then option B would be the ideal
And if
solution.
if they don't agree to it, we option 1 them, because then they're more likely to be suspect.
Well,
You would like to kidnap somebody in a military city?
So
With
Docs
the
makes an
king's
excellent point.
permission. The king
There's
summons
one
them.
problem with
If they
that.
don't all come, then we go and hunt them down.
There's one
Okay,
problem
so
with
I'm
that,
not going to
Joseph.
be in that party.
What's the problem?
If we drag these people in front of the king and I cause zone of truth, I think we're putting a giant target on our backs. Even when it comes to the innocent ones, they'll be offended by that, and they're powerful people.
I would agree with Breena.
I do like that idea. It would avoid bloodshed. It would avoid so many catastrophes we have even with the kobolds invasion. So why would you not want to just reveal that you tell the truth? It's honest. It's not.
Yes, but as Brucon just pointed out earlier, people don't appreciate being forced to tell the truth.
People don't appreciate their family members being killed.
I agree.
So true.
I'm not saying we shouldn't, but I'm just saying we're putting a target on our backs.
What if, when all the suspects are there, we zone of truth ourselves, and we tell them, we will only ask you 1 question. Were you involved in the assassination of the king? And that's it.
Okay, but then I would suggest maybe we go to the king with this and make him summon them instead of us having to gather them, because they wouldn't dare defy the king.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, no,
And then
do
it's
this
not
king
us
like
doing
a
it.
king summon. Then we just we zone of truth everyone. We ask, we tell them in the zone of truth, we're only going to ask a single question. If whoever agrees, they go in. They'll say, I had nothing to do with it. Anyone disagrees, we either A, force them in the circle, or B, assume they're the guilty party. And, no one wants to assume that they're the guilty party if we're only asking one question. Then it's more, and if someone doesn't come, we kidnap them.
I'm also worried about something else. When people at Swerve Haven back at home realized that I had visions, they wanted to keep me around to provide information, and I'm worried that the king might want to do the same when he realizes I can do this.
And don't tell him.
Ooh.
Don't tell him.
So we just, that's why, because I was saying let the king do it, but if we involve him, he might want to keep me here.
That is a good point.
So I suggest a modification to this plan is that if we do go ahead with it, we make absolutely sure that we know exactly what our route from the palace would be to the Moonrunner escape, and we get set to make a hot exit as we've been preparing for. But that does suggest that if we're going to try and find out more about Mr. Leobrin's dream, then we should do that first.
So I couldn't hear what you said last
Yeah,
time.
a lot of what Dox is saying is getting swallowed.
You're coming through a bit quiet. I have turned you up at my end, Jess, but yeah.
What was the last thing Doc said? Ish.
I just said don't tell him.
Don't tell him, yeah.
Just don't tell him you've got visions. Just be very specific as to what the magic you can do is essentially what you say.
Well, for a king who sees conspiracy everywhere, having someone that can reveal the truth is very valuable, I think. So that alone will give him reason to want to keep me captive, I think.
Yes, I don't think there's any way we can reveal. I don't think there's any way we can use the zone of truth as a tool to reveal to the king, directly to the king, who his who the plotters against him are, without also revealing to him that there is a powerful potential tool that he could try and keep for himself.
Docs?
That's a really good point.
This thing you do, the disguises you do, is that something you could do on me? If they don't know it's me doing it, then they wouldn't keep me or want to keep me.
Oh, Leo has a thing.
Yes, yes, as long as you do it outside of the palace.
Right, anti-magic.
Yes, more generally, the anti-magic. Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's not something she can do. No.
Okay.
No.
Well, then we're back to not involving the king and just going by these people ourselves, and me maybe disguised as something else or someone else, and then I cast Zone and Truth and we disappear, and then they don't know it was us.
Yeah, we do it all outside the palace because that's where we can't cast Zone of Truth inside. If you have the mask thingy, which lets you look like anyone else, you can just be someone else.
Oh yes, the mask.
We do it all in one day. We get him out the way.
Yes, that would that potentially works. Again, I do think it's why I think it's absolutely right to be cautious about. Look, let's be clear. Seth, as you demonstrated moments ago, even if someone can be absolutely innocent of the thing you're worried that they are guilty of, and still have a significant problem with being compelled to say, whatever you want, and making promises. I think that the using the zone of truth to promise to only ask one question has a number of flaws in it, not least that we can't necessarily, what if the person, what if this is all being orchestrated by Damon, and the one question we ask has enough wiggle room, even with its additional compulsive power, to avoid them disclosing everything. So I think we want to be. I think we want to be careful about trusting everything in the power of Zone of Truth. There's a variety of ways that could go wrong, and even if it goes as well as it possibly can do, there's a pretty good chance it's going to piss off at least 2 and probably nearly all of the members of the council. Who I have to tell you, in my experience as a member of a sort of an aristocratic family, no one as rich and powerful as these people has absolutely nothing to hide, and it might have nothing whatsoever to do with the assassination plot against the family of King Zardak, but that still, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to enjoy us. I mean, look, if we go around collecting the deepest, darkest secrets of the most powerful individuals in Herthir, that seems to me to be a pretty good way to put our lives in serious jeopardy. So I think a certain amount of caution and prior information digging is prudent, but I certainly agree that if we can set this up to slice through to simplify the process of determining who is the sort of final candidate, then that's helpful.
Well,
As Brucon is saying this, Neris has reappeared at the top of the stairs, a bit of a pout, listening to what's going on, and then walks down and just sits silently at the table, rejoining you guys. So go ahead.
As she does so, Brucon turns to her and says, "We figured out the Zone of Truth thing. Everything's tickety boo as of now."
you were right, Neris. I'm sorry.
Good. Fine.
I think we made up with Seth, so you don't be mad either, okay?
Fine.
About Damon perhaps being involved. And she's kind of going to glance at Docs for a second because she didn't want to discuss this in front of her, but now feels she has to. I found out in the palace that there's a red mage being held prisoner, and I was told that we could question him if we wanted. So we could start there and maybe rule out that the red mages had anything to do with it.
That would be helpful. He's being kept in the palace, did you say?
Yeah,
Did we know this? Have you told us this in the past?
I have told Malar this.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I get my appropriate level of surprise for this question. There's a red mage in the palace?
Yeah, they have him prisoner.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk to him.
Oh, so many leads. Well, but I agree that if we can knock the red mage connection out early, then that's helpful. So perhaps if we return to our original plan, Breena, myself, and Seth go to the safe house to talk to the kobold shaman, and everyone else goes to the palace to find out to uncover what's going on with the red mage, and then we reconvene and compare notes and figure out what we're doing next. How does that sound to everybody?
Good idea, Mr. Brucon. Good idea.
Then last thing I need to say then is, and I'm going to summon my familiar in his raven form. Say, take Rallum with you, and he'll be able to tell me if any problems happen with you guys while we're separated.
Raven just nods repeatedly.
Here you go, Mala. You can hold on to Rallum.
No! Take it away!
But he's named after you.
No!
I was wondering. So it's Ralam, yeah?
You've just put Malar backwards. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
I didn't spot that. I thought there was an E in there for some reason. Alright, I appreciate that.
My naming sense has improved since I named my horse Horsey.
Yes. Go for slightly different literary devices here. I appreciate that.
It's, yeah, from that extremely low base, you have definitely improved.
Ryland's gonna go with you, and he'll tell me if you guys get in trouble, and then we can come help.
Okay, just for my benefit as much as anything else, who's going with whom?
Breena, Brucon, and Seth are going to go back to the safe house with Captain Terrick and speak to the Kobold Shaman, and everyone else is going to go back to the palace to try and get an audience with this captive Red Mage. With the possible exception of Dox, who technically speaking is a free agent.
True, Dox, which way?
I mean, we're all free agents, but Dox is, somewhat unaligned.
Dox will go, but she won't go in her, in her dragon form. Or she'll go as a lizard folk.
What, sorry?
Okay.
Oh, lizard folk, right.
Yeah, Mike's breaking up a little bit, but I think that's just signal, so not anything you can do really.
And it's just the internet.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll go. So Dox will be going then with the group to the palace. Okay, and the rest of you are going to go to deal with the captive. Let's go with the captive group first, while the rest of you, because you'll kind of go together at first, then split off as one group goes towards the palace and the others goes towards the black sector. The black sector is closer, so we'll go with you guys first. So the three of you, Brucon, Breena, and Seth. Brucon is the... Hang on. None of you have been to the safe house before. It's only Leo and Neris who have been to the safe house. So you don't know where it is, but you do have the Comrock.
So let's bring... Well, yes, but also let's bring... We can just bring Neris.
Oh, okay, yeah, bring Neris. That sounds good. Yeah.
I think Neris... Okay. I think Marta and Neris would probably prefer to be the ones going to question the Red Mage.
It's true,
except for they can't use their magic.
Hang on, wasn't it Neris and Leo who?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Neris and Leo. So Leo could go instead.
Okay. So Leo, if Leo comes with us, then that irons that out.
The only issue you have then is contacting the other side, because I think Leo has sending on his book.
No, because of the familiar.
Oh right. You're familiar, right?
What is the range? What is the range on your familiar contact?
I have taken Voice of the Chain Master. I decided to give up Eldritch Sight for it, so I can speak through my familiar as long as he's on the same plane of existence.
Nice.
Excellent.
I thought in a very unlikely scenario, I was like, what are the chances we're going to want to split the party again? And so I thought, that's not going to happen, but just in case we ever need to split, I'll take Voice of the Chain Master so we can be in communication.
You do have, Seth, as you with the rest of the party walk out into the open air outside of the tavern. It's a fairly dry day, but the sunlight really affects you more than it ever has before. You're having to squint because you have the sunlight sensitivity feature. So you have disadvantage on perception checks while you're out in the sunlight. Currently. Sorry, buddy. It's part of the eye thing. But you can then look through the eyes of you. Okay? You can look through the eyes of your familiar, which actually you can see normally through the familiar's eyes when you do that.
I want to hit.
There's ways around that.
That's very confusing though. If Seth is looking through the familiar's eyes at a different group of people walking a different place.
Yes, I know. But while you're together, I mean, as soon as you split off, he's gonna have to wear some sunglasses or something. So anyway, you guys split off then. So you've got captive group. That sounds wrong, but yep, captive group. With Leobrin, you can lead them back to the safe house and the four very similar looking buildings. Leo, can you make a history check for me, please?
Oh wait, history I can do. So that is A 20 on the die plus 5.
That's a natural 20, so 25. Oh, yes, you remember there's a very partial difference. This one building that you need to go. There's like one broken slat in the shutter and that you remember, and that gives away which building it is. And you'll never need to make that history check again. It's on the record. If you need to find that building, you know where it is now.
To see it, you love to see it.
I've hacked perception checks. I just need to history them and get 20s. I no longer need to find my way through mist.
That's it. It's rolling with the punches to get to what's real, and what's real here is this building. And as you get to this building, the door is locked.
Oh wait, there's a secret knock, right? We had a secret knock, I think.
I think you did have a secret knock, actually. Yeah. You could do this. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you do the secret knock.
Rick, are you in? We are here for the captive. There we go.
I mean,
The
Brooke
door
still has the
creaks open.
Comrock. So yeah, okay, yep.
Who's there?
Us?
Oh, it's you
Leo? Hi,
guys.
you can see my
Opens
face.
the door.
It's the Pit Champions.
Oh, come in. Quickly. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. And the rest of you who haven't seen this before, Leo, you have seen this before, but it appears to be just one vacant room with a bucket in the middle with some ice in the bucket and a smaller bucket within that with some whitish, creamy liquid. And closes the door. Oh, sorry about that. Tarek's just got to fix that for you. And he goes over to the fireplace and pulls the candlestick, and suddenly the illusion disappears, and you can see that there are several rooms in this particular building. As well as
Brucon looks
furnishings.
around. Brucon looks around with a big grin plastered over his face and goes, "That is cool as hell."
Tarek knows. And just kind of elbows Brucon, like has to lean down a little bit to elbow him because he's like, it's cool. I like this. This is bro.
Terry elbows Brucon in the side of
In
his
the head.
Yes, very cool. Please don't do that again.
Oh, sorry about that.
Do you
It's quite alright.
Do you leave the illusion on? I suppose you just turned it on before you opened the door for us. That would make more sense than leaving it on the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello, Captain Tarek. Nice to meet you in the flesh. Yes, we are. We would like to speak to the kobold that you're looking after for us, if that's all right.
Sure. I need to lead you around to the room. Unlocks the door. He's all yours.
Thank you very much.
It's quite a small room, but you can probably squeeze in the four of you.
Brucon turns to Leo and says, "Maybe having you outside would be, as a sort of ace in the hole. Like if we're all in here and something unexpected happens, then having you a little distance away maybe is a good idea."
Oh. Okay.
It's totally up to you. If you want to come in with us, you're welcome.
I will guard. The place could get attacked, and you'll need someone strong on the defense. I understand.
Yes, exactly.
What?
And
love it.
yeah, let's go into the room.
Okay, so the three of you enter the room. You can see that the kobold is there, still there, manacled, conscious this time than last time you saw them. They were not conscious. They do not look best pleased to see you. In fact, they kind of just turn away towards the floor and to one side. And you can see, now more clearly that they're quite an aged kobold, this one. But nonetheless, not one to be trifled with, as you know from when you first encountered them.
Indeed. Brucon sort of walks over and squats down, so that he, to kind of be, eye to eye with this guy, and says, "Well, hello there. Sorry about all this, but we wanted to know a bit more about what you know, and we wanted to keep matters simple. You may be unhappy to you might be interested to know that some of what we're pretty sure are your companions attempted to attack us last night, and I'm sorry to say that none of them survived. It really would simplify things an awful lot if you just told us what's going on with your group and why they are constantly attacking us. That probably would save quite a few lives and maybe help. Maybe give us some information that we could use to negotiate on your behalf. And can I make a persuasion check?
I was about to say yes. Make a persuasion check.
Cool. That is a 12.
So he doesn't. He doesn't do anything particularly rude, but he just ignores you. Just stays quiet,
Stonewall.
looking.
Yeah, Stonewall. Yeah.
Stonewall, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Brickon says just 1 second. I just feel compelled to be polite. I don't really know why. There's a lot of strange things happening to me today. Anyway, some questions for later. And he turns back to the kobold and says, "Now, I have to tell you that we have a. It's pretty. It's pretty aggressive. We do have a way of really making you tell us what we need to know. It's a little uncomfortable. It's not really my sort of my thing, but I've seen it in action and I know it works, frankly, terrifyingly well. If we don't have to compel you to answer, then I would rather not do. But if you are going to keep stonewalling me, then you kind of leave us no choice. So last chance before my friend here basically takes your position out of the equation. Are you willing to tell us why we are being attacked, or do I need my friend here to make you?
This is gonna have to be an intimidation check. I was trying to think, could this be persuasion? But I think it's intimidation.
No, that was. I'm very happy for that. Having attempted persuasion and biffed it, I think that's a fair segue. So, that's an 18. So the fact that my bonus to intimidation is 2 and my bonus to persuasion is 5 makes no difference. Better at intimidating on this occasion. So yeah, 18 intimidation.
18. All right. So he just turned to face you this time. After you say that. Yes. What did you want to know?
All right. Well, I mean, first and foremost, why are we constantly being attacked by representatives of the Kobold Kingdom? It seems to be focused pretty much on us.
Well, you took one of us. Until you give us back, you will continue to be attacked.
Right, I see. Okay. Well, that makes sense. So, and the reason you attacked us yesterday before we took you captive, why was it? Was that just a crafty crew thing, or is the Kobold Kingdom? Is there another reason why the Kobold Kingdom was connected to that ambush in the street yesterday?
Reasons.
Okay, that's strike number 1. I'm not going to tell you what happens when you get to strike number 3 because there isn't going to be a strike number 3. I will ask you again.
Do it.
Yep, fine. Okay. Yes, fine.
Yeah.
Still feels
Breena,
weird, but
You know what, Brickon? We can have that discussion later. Hi!
Yes.
And I look at the kobold and cast Stone of Truth.
All right. He fails.
yeah. By the way, to be clear, Brucon is staying at his side, i.e., within 5 feet this whole time.
Yep. And failing willingly the Zone of Truth.
Oh yeah. Brucon's I'm very happy to.
Seth, I believe, is in the room too.
Yeah, I'll fail.
Okay. Breena, go ahead.
Let's try that again. Why did you attack my friends yesterday?
We were instructed to.
By who?
The seer.
He's kind of looking at himself like, did I just say that?
Who's the seer?
What is this magic? The seer. I do not know exactly what the seer is, but the seer tells us what to do. They are the leader of our kingdom.
The
I do
seer
not
is
know
your
where
king?
they came from. Yes, in a sense.
Is he a kobold as well?
No,
What then?
I do not know. This
Oh,
is an
you've never
alien
seen him?
creature. No, I have seen it.
How
And
does
it's
he look
great.
like?
It has one big eye and 3, 4 smaller eyes. It sees
There it
things.
is.
Don't say. No,
I
she
don't know
doesn't say
what
that.
I don't know what it is. I do not know where it came from. But when it appeared, the Kobold Kingdom was emboldened to do what must be done to bring peace and bring the rightful heirs to the Dragon Throne back, for the kobolds were the real servants of the dragons. The Dragonborn may have been created by the dragons, but the kobolds are the rightful occupiers of the throne. They showed us this. The seer gave us the means, the powers to be able to do this, and now we are amassing our forces, and soon enough we will take this place for our own, and you will not be able to stop us.
What does this have to do with attacking us?
The seer told us to. The seer said you were a threat.
Okay. And does that mean that the assassination attempt on the king's family is your doing as well?
No, but it is fortunate. It has left the city mostly undefended as the king has been hiding inside his palace. The kobolds have benefited much from this in the last year. That is why we have been able to advance our cause as much as we have. If only the Lord General did not keep trying to thwart our efforts, we would perhaps already have taken the entirety of the sewers. And at this point, he seems to have given up on the fact, this spell clearly, and he's kind of reveling in kind of gloating to you about what's going to happen.
Yeah. We've got, Brucon turns to Breena and kind of turns to Seth while Breena's having this kind of intense exchange and says, "She's got him monologuing. She's good," and then just turns back. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of just like, "Oh yeah," and then turns back and just observes.
Okay.
How strong is the Kobold Kingdom? What's its mustering power, so to speak? How many kobolds do you have?
I do not know specific numbers of the foot soldiers, if you like, of the army, but I know that our disciples are in the hundreds.
The Ahir that you keep speaking about, where is he? Do you know his location?
Deep underground in the sewers, in the heart of the kingdom, yes.
And is there an entrance to it from a cave near the beach?
No. No. Not that I am aware of. I have heard of a cave under the palace, but that holds a different creature. I do not know what this creature exactly, but I know that whatever it holds is behind the magic field around the palace.
So the thing under the palace isn't the Ahir.
No, the seer is something else. Well, I I do not know what the one under the palace is. I know what the seer looks like, but I do not know what it is. I do not know what the thing under the palace looks like either.
Huh.
Sorry, Jack, just to very briefly rewind, when the shaman was talking about taking over all of the sewers and said
Yeah.
they hadn't been able to, was it the royal guard he said had been thwarting them?
No, he said he said the Lord General Xerox.
The Lord General, that was it. Yeah, gotcha.
One of your suspects.
Yes. And what other? So you've mentioned that this the seer has been granting you powers. What kind of powers?
The ability to sound. He kind of holds up his manacled hands, but you have seen it already. The powers, I have been able to create fire in my hands and throw them at you on the rooftop where we first fought. Other such magical powers.
Go on.
Why is he helping the kobolds?
Because we are the rightful rulers of the Dragon Kingdom, obviously. The seer knows the truth, knows that the kobolds are rightful heirs to this kingdom and will help us to take it back. The seer knows and sees all.
Wait, sees all. Can he actually see all? Like, can he choose to see people?
Do you doubt the powers of the seer? Really?
No,
I would not be so foolish.
Can he choose people to view?
Yes, of course. They see all.
He's probably the one that's been watching us.
There is no limit to their power.
It seems plausible. Here's another one, and I don't know how we're doing on time, but are all of the kobolds in Herthir part of the Kobold Kingdom, or are there some kobolds around who are not on your side?
All kobolds will be welcome in the Kobold Kingdom. Unfortunately, not all of them have decided to join. In fact, I seem to recall there is one example being the bodyguard of the king is not affiliated with us, even though they would be welcome in our ranks, as would all kobold kind.
Bodyguard of the king's a kobold? News to me. Oh, interesting.
They disguise themselves as a jester, but yes, they are the bodyguard, really.
Okay, that's helpful. All right, another question. Do you have some sort of... given that not every kobold is explicitly aligned with you at the moment, do you have a means of recognizing your own? Do you have a signal or some way that you can identify whether or not you are another kobold is a member of the Kobold Kingdom?
Yes. Either they are wearing their robes, and he kind of gesticulates to what he's wearing, although it's rather muddy. You can see he's kind of got this sackcloth robe with a red eye drawn on the middle. Or else, the signal. I cannot do this with my hands like this.
If we untie your hands, are you going to attempt to attack us?
Yes.
If you attempt to attack us, you realize I'm going to kill you very, very painfully. Knowing that, are you going to attack us if we untie your hands?
Yes.
I don't think... Well, do I want him to untie his hands? No, let's not untie his hands.
Suppose we could once we're done questioning.
I think this is a we can come back to uncovering the signal. None of us here now can pretend convincingly to be. Well, maybe Brucon kind of his eyes sort of glance over Breena and sort of goes, well, probably none of us here can. No, hang on, Leo's outside. No, forget I said anything. We can definitely pretend to be kobolds if we need to. So, yeah, this is tricky.
Is there
Brucon,
anything
so
we?
this is.
Oh,
I've got a thing, but I think I don't. I'm too short of information to try and make my way there in character. So I'm just going to have to drop out of character for a moment. Seth, you know detect thoughts, right?
yeah.
Does anyone know if Brucon knows that Seth? I think Brucon cannot. Like a big guiding characteristic of Brucon's is that he doesn't get magic and doesn't do it. So I don't think there's any way that Brucon would know that Seth has detect thoughts. But Bart knows that Seth has. You know.
I can't remember who I've mentioned it in front of. I know I've mentioned it in front of Malar.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway,
But
there's
I
a
can't-
meta observation about an ability you have that might help slice through this Gordian knot. And we're back in the room.
There's a nice combination. Yeah.
It's a
just going to ask you one
brutal
more question.
combination.
Is there anything we can say to you to get you to show us the signal?
No,
Mr. Cobb?
but this spell that you have on me is compelling me to show you. He's
Does
like struggling with his hands, like to do it.
The problem here is that he's restrained, not that he's unwilling.
I know a little
He doesn't
bit
want
about
to do
that.
it, but go ahead. So
I know a little bit about magic, and this is not going to hold true for all spells. But if we, what do you call it? Gag him. There should be a certain amount of spells he can't do if he can't speak.
Okay.
We tie everything else up but his hand.
Yes, and make sure he can't speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brucon turns to. I mean, I don't think we need to kind of act out the whole of this, but basically, surely Terrick has a gag or something. They must
Sure.
have some kind of restraints that we could borrow. So if Leobrin asks him for use of them, then we can surely, I hope, gag this guy.
I mean, don't interpret this in the way that I know that you're going to, but he's going to pull out. Terrick will offer a leather thong to put in the mouth.
Yeah. No, form follows function, right? If you want someone to be unable to speak, there's a limit to how many different ways you're going to be able to get there. I'm happy not to interrogate this too much. Cool. Let's gag this guy and get him to show us the Brucon remaining within 5 feet of him. We can release the restraints on his hands and get him to show us the gesture.
All right. So, because he's in manacles, so gonna get Terrick to untie him to unlock him. He does so, and kind of the kobolds like feels their wrists.
I'm readying a counter spell as we do this.
Good, because no sooner has he wrung his hands that he actually, I'm not sure how subtle spell. So how because this is a sorcerer. I'm not sure how counter spell and subtle spell work because I'm not sure.
Yeah, we were discussing
verbal
this.
components.
We were discussing this.
No.
I don't think you can counterspell a subtle spell.
I think that's correct. So you can have it ready to go, but it's gonna be set off anyway. I'm just gonna double check very quickly just in case.
Yeah. I'm having a quick look as well.
No
I'm
idea.
glad that we had that conversation about subtle spell.
It's funny that it's funny that it came up. Yeah. But class
Spell
features.
something if you don't know it's being cast, and a subtle spell removes
Kind of
Yes,
removes
that's
that. Yeah.
The point
verbal
is,
and
there's
somatic
no.
components, right?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
gagging
Verbal
doesn't
and
actually.
somatic. Yeah.
Yeah, gagging doesn't actually do
that just
anything.
happens.
So unless the spell has a material component that the kobold needs to pull out, there is no way of knowing a spell is being cast.
Or alternatively, if he's using an arcane focus.
Yeah, but any physical object, if a component is required, you'll know.
Then you would
about
see
it.
that.
Yeah, so he can probably cast most cantrips that he could some spells will involve it, but I don't think many cantrips need a material component.
Chromatic orb. If he wants to blast us with chromatic orb, we'll know. Fireball needs guano.
The other thing, of course, is
Can't
that
fireball us.
with subtle spell, unless it has a material component, he could have cast it whilst restrained by the manacles.
Yeah.
But obviously has waited till their hands are free to do this. But yes, subtle spell. Suddenly, 3 balls of fire fly out from him. 2 towards Breena, 1 towards Brucon.
Okay. Now I'm gonna flag something up here. So one of the things about Mage Slayer, when a creature within 5 feet of you casts a spell, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that creature, and when you damage, and then other stuff. But so you're I mean, it seems to me
it will get off its attack first, and then you.
I'm not expecting this to
interrupt.
I'm not expecting this to work like a counter spell, but I think Brucon is going to go for an attack on this guy as they go off.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'll roll the attacks first, the 3 orbs.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so... Oh no, Brucon's within 5 feet, so he wouldn't throw an orb at Brucon, he'd throw it at Seth. That just makes sense. So 1 orb by some miracle, Breena, one orb completely misses you because he got a 6 to hit.
Melee range. Are these all at disadvantage?
Is he in melee range of Breena? I didn't think he was. I thought he was just Brucon who specified 5 feet away. Oh! You're right, yes. So
all of his ranged attacks are at disadvantage.
You are quite right, and I apologise. Thank you, Marshall. Yes. So I'll re-roll. So the first one misses on Breena. Oh, the second one's a natural one. They both miss. One's on on Seth. Armor class 19.
That is my armor class, but I'm going to shield.
Okay, well they harmlessly miss Breena, but they do strike some of the woodwork, which does catch fire behind you guys. So Leo, you would notice this as well, because it's like, oh, fire! There's things on fire behind you in the room. But yes, all of those attacks miss.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Brucon.
And having got them off, Brucon goes, oh no, and attempts to hit him. Please don't natty 1 this. That is not a natty 1, that is a dirty 20.
Hey, that hits.
And Brucon's going to burn a key point to stunning strike him as well.
Okay, great.
And he will be pulling his punch. So he is, he's
non-lethaling
going for
him.
neutralizing non-lethal. Should this go max damage and do a lot?
Okay.
Did quite a bit. That's 9 damage that this guy takes.
9 damage isn't enough to knock him down, but he failed his whiz save. Is it whiz save or a con save?
Con.
I can't remember.
It's con.
It was a 12, so I think that misses.
That's
Sorry,
a fail.
I think that fails.
14. Yeah, 14 is the magic number. So yeah, he's stunned, and Brucon sort of shakes his head and goes, honestly, and sticks the manacles back on.
Yeah,
gonna
nice one.
Pull out her alchemy jug and conjure up some water to put out the fire.
Not mayonnaise.
There we go. So many options, and you're not picking the mayo.
Not gonna use mayo for fire now.
The smell of frying mayonnaise.
Anyway, moving swiftly on.
Yeah. I imagine it's what is a 10-minute time on Zone of Truth?
Yes, Breena can cast it at will with I think with the with the
put it up
wands.
again and again.
Oh,
it's so
God.
overpowered.
It's crazy. That's busted as. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Around town, permanent Zone of Truth.
Yep,
I guess time's not a factor. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't think that. I think this recognize. This gesture is the only thing we're still after. So I think our best option at this point is getting him to think of it and have Seth read his mind. But I don't know that Brucon, I think, can't be the one to suggest that.
Yeah, it's early in the day, and I can only do it once a day, so I kind of didn't want to. Does it come back on a short rest or a long rest? Long rest. It's just once a day thing. I was hoping to save it in case we questioned one of the 5 potential.
Sure. Yeah. Yes. There's a knock. Hang on, wait. There's a knocking without. Brucon turns, goes and opens the door and says, "Hello, yes, Mr.
Is
Leobrin."
everything okay? I'd heard a lot of explosions.
Yes, our captive persuaded us to give him a to take the manacles off. He's got a sort of secret gesture for recognizing other members of his group. Anyway, he had a little pop at making a bid for freedom. It didn't work, but yes, everything's fine. Seeing as we're discussing directly, he has he was telling us that there's a hand gesture that they use to recognize members of their little group, but we can't get him to show it to us without trying to burn the place down. Really, any ideas?
Yes. Leo turns to Dad. Take his manacles off. We need to see your gesture. Koboldy person. Once we've got manacles off, please, would you show us this wonderful gesture? Not just being polite. I will use Fey presence.
I do love if you just kind of went, yes, I know exactly what we need to do here. Don't worry, I've got this covered. Please. But
It's
yeah,
not
Fey
the
presence.
first time Leo's just tried manners.
It's
mean-
great. I'm a
But
big
I
fan.
will apply Fey presence to this one.
I did think. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, James.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, all I said was manners maketh the elf. That's all I said.
I was going.
Um,
I was going to add. This reminds me of in a completely separate game. Where I was playing a ranger, and they wanted somebody who could speak with animals. And my ranger character went, "Yeah, sure, I can speak with animals," and they just made animal noises at the animals.
Oh no, amazing. I actually realised it wasn't Leo that's asked people politely. It's some of my previous characters. Manners.
I wondered if you were going to cast suggestion, but Fey presence. What's the save?
Don't have suggestion.
Okay.
I don't have useful spells. What are you talking about?
Yes, you do. You got great spells.
It is a I've got plant growth. A wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
DC 16.
Okay, so 17 on the die minus 1 wisdom equals 16. Just makes it.
Oh, that beats it. Yeah. Oh well. Let's hope that the actual manners had an effect then.
Hang on. Oh no, it's not a spell, is it? It's an ability. Damn.
Yeah.
Because having Brucon next to him means he makes spell saving throws with disadvantage, but that doesn't work for Fey presence. Damn.
I mean, technically, everyone within 10 feet of me also has to make the save, but it's fine.
I'm gonna step up. He's manacled again? Yeah.
No, these manacles were off when Leo said to take them off.
I'm trying manners. Can I still try to persuade? Like, basically, I would still have to make the persuasion check. It's just it would give it with advantage from being charmed.
Yeah. Sure, make
I
a
still want
persuasion
to
check.
Persuade.
Sure.
Lovely. I'm going to expend my inspiration to have advantage.
Okay.
Boop. Goodbye. That is 18.
Okay. It stands and listens to you. Doesn't make any sudden movements.
Good, because I'm delicate. I feel like even a disadvantage scorching ray might hit me.
So go on. It's waiting for you to speak.
Oh, I said, please, could you show us the gesture?
Oh.
we need?
Are you doing a gesture?
Yes,
doing a
it
gesture?
shows you a gesture,
We-
which is essentially making a steeple type thing with your hands, and then opening it out into like a tent,
Orb.
like an
It's-
orb. An orb, exactly.
It's Gendo Ikari. Oh no, we've turned into Neon Genesis Evangelion. He's doing their pose is the Gendo pose. No. Oh,
The creature, the kobold, then after making this gesture, brings its hands down to its chest and you see sort of an arcane spark as it seems to have cast something on itself. It disengages and tries to run out of a bonus action dash as it's cast Expeditious Retreat on itself, and it's trying to run out of the building.
Rukon again reacts to the casting of Expeditious Retreat with
Yep. Attack and
melee
attack. A melee attack and
It's-
possibly a
it-
stunning strike.
I really did not expect to be able to get this much use out of this feat, but boy, am I glad that I did. It did. As I was kind of going, we haven't encountered many casters, and then I went, although there are these shaman that we've started bumping into recently. Okay, let's see what we got for this roll. That is a 19.
19 hits. Yep.
Cool.
Jesus.
Again,
He's in
key
so
point,
much trouble.
stunning strike,
Right.
DC 14 con save.
Yep. He fails. 13. He fails.
Yep. Yeah, Brucon goes straight for the for one of the nerves, and he just locks up in mid stride, just like. Brucon kind of goes over and not unkindly, he manacles him again, but kind of as he does so, not unkindly has his hand on his shoulder and says, "Look, I applaud your persistence, but really this is not working for you. And we're nice people. Honestly, this is very unnecessary."
Yes, if this kobold had understood the mechanics of D&D slightly better, he would have disengaged first, then moved so he was outside of your range, and then bonus action cast the spell on himself. But he didn't think about that, clearly.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. Yes, I am aware, but yeah, I am aware that I mean, if Brucon takes Sentinel at level 12, then things get real dumb. But we're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Brucon turns to the others and says, "I mean, I think we've seems to me we've kind of got all of the really vital information out of this chap. I can't think of any other questions. Anybody else? Any more, or shall we wrap things up here and go to share what we've learned with the others, and probably have a chat with Terek as well on the way?"
I've got one last question for it.
Far away.
Your boss, the seer, does it know the creature under the castle? Has it ever mentioned anything about the creature under the castle?
No. Not to me. Nor anyone else I know.
It's never told you to sort of like not injure it, don't attack it?
Nothing. I do not know if it knows it exists, really.
Cool. I'm done with my questions.
Okay. Meanwhile, so as you guys sort of conclude your interrogation of the captive, and that was quite an eventful interrogation, has to be said. Sorry, Steph.
I'm not sure if this is happening same time, obviously, different walking pace and such. When we finish the interrogation before we leave, can I start looking through my familiar's eyes just to see where they are when we finish? But I don't know if they're still on the way there or if they're cut. It's unlikely they're doing the interrogation the same time as us. But
well, you say that.
Wherever they are at the same time.
You say that, but you're about to find out. So, the rest of you, that's Neris, Malar, and Dox, along with Seth's familiar, whose name is Rallum, the Raven. Rallum the Raven, are all heading to the palace. So we've rounded time a little bit here. Anyway, you get to the palace without incident. Dox, you're in the lizard folk disguise now, currently, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're greeted at the gates to the citadel, to the keep, by guards. You notice Malar, and Neris would notice too. It's not the same. It's not Captain Auburn who's greeted you this time. It doesn't seem to be there. It's just some other member of the Royal Guard, asking you for your weapons in Draconic, which Neris translates. Obviously, Dox understands anyway. Demands your weapons from you. Dox, you're also familiar with this because you've obviously been at the palace quite a few times. Are you willingly giving up your weapons?
Yes.
Okay. Neris doesn't really have many weapons to speak of, but she gives up what she has. Malar?
Yeah, Malar will hand over anything that is obviously a weapon.
Excellent. And then as you start sort of moving up, you hear like a bop, 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 and then asks for your arcane focuses, your magical items. As before, Malar, they don't suspect your holy symbol. They let you keep that.
Okay. This is all anti-magical anyway at this point, isn't it?
I mean, with the anti-magic field, it's going to be redundant, isn't it? But for some reason, they want to take them.
I made a big deal about giving all my weapons, so like all my bolts, my heavy crossbow, my daggers, my halberd, my hand axe. Like, I very obviously do not have arcane focus on me.
Yeah. Okay, I will say that for this, you can make a deception check.
Okay.
If I was there, this is the point that Doc would become my new best friend of weapons.
Yeah.
We're on one. Deception. That's a 13.
13 is enough. They don't seem to demand anything from you. It wasn't a very high check for you because you have so many weapons. You're causing quite a song and dance about that, much like Seth did. Neris, however, does have to give up her focus. I believe it's a ring. She gives that up. Although she's not pleased about it at all. She grumbles into Malar's shoulder. She's not pleased about this. And then you're free to continue on your way to the palace, into the palace itself.
Is Malar carrying Neris?
No. She's just leaning against him, like just to grumble, to like smother the noise.
Got it. Okay. I was just
Malar's team mum
into Malar's shoulder. Conjured up a strange mental image. By the way, Jack, check Facebook.
Facebook.
In case you've not seen. Yeah, send you a message.
Oh.
But carry on.
Thank you. All right. So you head into the palace and into the throne room, and you see the king is there, not currently holding audience with anyone, and you are beckoned forward by one of his assistants, by some of the guards. His advisor is standing nearby, the translator, and of course his jester as well.
Yeah, I've forgotten what we were doing here. I thought we were going to see Dudra Denish, but fine.
Red mage. Captive red mage.
Captive red mage, yeah.
Red mage. Thank you, yes.
Yes.
mean,
The king bows to you.
When we're going in, it's just like, wow. Super, super polite, super, super everything.
Yeah.
Is what Doctor's doing anyway.
Sure. Neris just gives a cursory nod, like okay. The king speaks in Draconic, but it's translated by the translator for the benefit of Malar and for Neris, as far as they're aware. But anyway, what business do you have with King Zarndak this day?
Oh, King Zarndak, I come to you as a humble servant under the Eights, and as I understand it, you have a prisoner within your keep that we would wish to interrogate. A mage dressed in scarlet.
The king nods and gives a signal to his advisor, who then promptly bows to you all and then leaves the room. And then he speaks freely to you in common. Yes, I do have a red mage in the prison. Yes, below ground. You wish to speak with them? I believe your friend, the small one, Breena, I think her name was promised to be able to speak with them as part of her research. You may do so, of course.
We humbly accept your assistance, Your Honor. Liege.
You will be allowed to speak with the prisoner. You, of course, will not be allowed within its cell. It must remain in there and unspoiled. Yes?
Malar looks at Neris, is like, oh yes.
Neris really wants to cast
Yeah.
a fire spell right now, and she can't, so she's just really like clenching her fists, which are going whiter than usual because of her alabaster skin tone, but it's even more. Yeah.
And may I introduce my? I have made a friend whilst in your lovely town. This is my colleague. And I turn to Docs, and I'm like, what do I call you?
Ebix, Your Majesty. They have hired me as their guide in your humble city.
Okay, Docs, make a deception check, please. If you just said the name, I wasn't going to do it because I thought there's no way to prove that. But yeah, the other information, fair enough. Let's have a deception check. How you doing?
Okay. Let me go back onto that page. That's a 13.
13. Okay. King kind of eyes narrow a little bit towards you. And he kind of sniffs the air with his snout. A pleasure. Yes. I will send the guard to take you to the prisoner.
Your Majesty. Bows.
Yeah, lots of bowing.
Lots of bowing as the
yes, yes.
as the jester kind of scuttles off to retrieve some guards who appear moments later, and they kind of take place either side of you, just flanking the three of you. Yes, so they will take you to the prisoner. I hope to hear how your investigation proceeds afterwards, perhaps.
Well, we will give you an update immediately after, Your Highnessness.
Good. Go now in peace. Just waves you on. So the guards kind of form ranks in front of you and start leading you towards through a side door and into another part of the palace. You're taken down a winding staircase, and you find a very large reinforced. I was going to say iron, but actually it's a reinforced bronze door with a small window with bars over it. They unlock the door, open it, and you can see now you're inside essentially a jail. And you'll kind of walk down the gallery, I guess is what it would be called, with all the different cells alongside. However, it's not like a Western jail where you have sort of floor to ceiling iron bars separating each of the cells. In fact, they appear to be sort of stone confines with, again, similar to the reinforced door that you've seen before, a door with a few iron bars in a window so that you can see into the room. Not particularly well, because it's not very well lit. It's quite dimly lit down here, but nevertheless. So I think for Neris, I don't think Docs has. No, Docs doesn't have dark vision, does she? No, of course not. So
Dragonborns don't.
Exactly. And I was wondering if you had got goggles of night or the warlock invocation, but I'm guessing you don't. So you guys, so the two of you, Dox and Mala, can't really see the figure inside. You can see that there's a figure in a hood. Get that it's red, and they have their hood up, and they're kind of. This is at the very last cell, at the very end of the prison, and sort of huddled up against one corner, sitting on a stool, but kind of quite poised, like carrying themselves rather well. Their posture seems quite good, even though they're sat there with their kind of head bowed and cowl over their head. Neris can see better than you two, although still, because of the cowl obscuring their features, they can't really make out who that is.
I reread my sheet. I have Devil's Sight.
There we go. I thought you might have the invocation. So, yeah, you can see, as Neris can, there's an individual sitting in the chair. Seems sort of average height, maybe sort of average height for an elf, maybe like 5'5", something like that. Yeah, roughly that sort of height. Male, they appear to be by for all intents and purposes, from what you can see here, and also from when they speak. Who comes here? And they look up. Neris immediately recoils back into Malar. Looks incredibly shocked, scared, angry, upset. There's a lot of emotion in her face as she she reaches back to you, Malar, almost like to try and hold her back, like she's just, and turns back to this individual sharply. Dox, you've never seen this person before, and she says, "What are you doing here, Damon?" Fuck, ruined it. Malar.
I've got to go.
Yeah, this is where we're gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this is where we should leave things for today. Anyway, I was just wondering if you had a last minute reaction before we end.
Cool, quickly finisher.
No.
Cliffhanger.
Good.
Always end on a cliffhanger.
Oh, and then yep. Oh, good. Okay, yep. This is where we're going to leave things then, as Damon appears to be the red mage in the cell. Bum bum bum. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun. So we'll be back in a month's time. Hopefully Marta will be back then, because that'd be very interesting to see.
Oh my god, I'd forgotten that we've got it's the cliffhangeriest cliffhanger. Oh my god.
And we'll see how that goes down, that conversation, next time. For now, thank you all for joining us for the stream tonight. Guys, players, thank you so much for joining me once again. It's great to be back, and I'm sorry that we're missing the next one. But, good things come to those who wait, so they say. And hopefully everyone will be cured of their ailments and other commitments, and hopefully we'll all be together May 11th. Hopefully see you all then. If I can, I will get a Previously in the Manylands session out, possibly on May the 4th. But I will I will keep you abreast of that situation. May the 11th be with you. Yes. Until then, whatever you're doing, look after each other, stay safe, and good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.